Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to start with some comments on the assassination attempt against former President Trump this weekend. Obviously, most of the work that we do here at the State Department relates to events overseas, and it is rare that I comment on things that happen here at home. But of course, what happens inside the United States is essential to the work that we do outside our borders. One of our responsibilities as America's diplomats is to promote our core values around the world: democracy, human rights, human dignity, and the ability to resolve our differences without resorting to violence. We know today that people around the world, governments around the world, have questions about what happened on Saturday, just as Americans do. And our message to them is simple. As President Biden has made clear, there is no place for violence in our democracy, period. We condemn this attack and all political violence strongly and unequivocally, just as we condemn political violence in any country, and just as we have condemned previous acts of political violence in the United States, whether it be the attack on members of Congress practicing for a baseball game, the brutal assault on Paul Pelosi, or of course, the horrific events of January 6, 2021. One of the things that Secretary Blinken has often spoken to is the effect of dehumanization and the cost to society when people lose sight of the core humanity they share with others, even those with whom they strongly disagree. Dehumanization is at the root of so many of the difficult challenges we face in the world, and confronting it is the key to finding solutions to the issues that divide us. So at this time, when people around the world have questions about our democracy, a big part of what we must do is show them how we respond as a nation. This morning, Secretary Blinken convened the senior leadership team here at the department to remind them that one of America's great strengths throughout our history has been our ability to reclaim our humanity, our fundamental decency after acts of tremendous violence and inhumanity. And he asked them to deliver that message around the world, to remind our allies and partners that America has faced trying times before, but that we have emerged from them stronger because of our core values that we share as a nation: a commitment to democracy, a respect for the rule of law, and a common aspiration not to let the things that divide us overwhelm those that bind us together. With that, take your questions.
So on that, has there been like an ALDAC or something that's gone out to all embassies, or was this just something that he said in the senior staff meeting?
There's not been an ALDAC that's gone out. We are going to have guidance that goes out to the field to talk about the events that will be consistent with what you've heard the president say, that we condemn violence, and we'll make that clear to people around the world who have questions. But today he was talking to senior leadership of the department and asking them to deliver that message to their teams.
Are you aware of any countries who have specifically asked U.S. diplomats abroad or here?
We have received, I don't know about asking questions so much as expressing concern, in the same way they have expressed concern in their public statements and in the same way that we express concern when we see acts of political violence in other countries. So I think what the secretary wanted to do is make sure the team knew to remind countries that we have faced horrific political violence in this country before. Obviously, we've seen assassination attempts. We've seen successful assassinations in this country. And we have worked through that by returning to our core values as a nation, and that we will do so again today.
Okay, and obviously the State Department doesn't have, well, it doesn't have any role at all in the domestic investigation into this or whatever. So so you would acknowledge, I think, that you're a bit limited in being able to answer questions from foreign countries, right?
Correct.
And so what do you tell them? You tell them to go to DOJ?
If anyone had a question about the investigation, it would be something that we wouldn't comment on. We'd say that a domestic investigation is not something we would share with foreign countries in any event. We would wait to brief foreign countries when the results of that investigation were finished and made public, and that would be the case here.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How an incident like that or an attempt like this impact the U.S. foreign policy of the issues that are really very hot at the present time? Does it impact it in any way, or things go on as usual?
No, it doesn't have any impact on our foreign policy. We make our decisions based on our values, based on our interests as a country, based on the interests of our allies and partners overseas and how to advance them. So no, this doesn't have any impact on those. Yeah.
But do you have any response to how the Russians reacted to what happened on Saturday? They blamed the Biden administration for creating, quote unquote, atmosphere
No, look, obviously those are incredibly irresponsible comments from the Kremlin, part of a series of irresponsible comments that we've seen them make, and of course they're absolutely not true.
And similar comments